Good evening, organised video, and today we have a bit of an interesting match that I had whilst respading a bunch of, well, I say a bunch, it felt like I was spading a bunch of 109s because I was. So for those that don't know, there was a update and a bunch of aircraft, and I mean a bunch, got, shall we say, incendiary bombs added to them. And as you all know, I do respade my stuff when it comes to that. And, well, this was one of the aircraft that I had to take out, and it was actually the second to last aircraft I had to take out. The last one being the Beaufighter Mark 21. So, what's the BF-109 G-6 Erla, and why does the name Erla not ring any bells to people? Well, pretty much the Erla designation is the cockpit. It's just a little bit more curvy at the back. That's pretty much all it is. There's no real difference in performance to the regular G6 and everything. It's literally just that. So it's, I guess, partially special, but like nothing that really warrants, you know. But anyway, that's not why we're here today. Today we're here to look at a match that I had whilst in this thing where I actually make a bit of a mistake. So, for those that have not been keeping up with the update recently, the German 20mm once again has taken a nerf, so yeah. Originally, I was going to play this match with three 30mm cannons, so the 30mm in here, and then of course the 30mm gun pods. However, if I had done so, I would not have had the result that I did, let's put it that way. The G-6 Erla is a very good plane, and you don't really tend to see people playing these things smartly. And, well, to be fair, in some of these, well, in this match I had to take a couple of head-ons just because, well, I'm not being an XP50 in a maneuvering fight, that's for sure. But this plane is very good, and, well, when you have to play pretty much what feels like whack-a-mole because your team is just not really doing much, yeah, this plane can definitely put in some work. So, let's go take a look at that match and see how this thing did. I'll see you in a moment. And you join me a few minutes into the match after we've all pretty much climbed up and started getting into engagements and things like that. And, well, yeah, this match was a little bit intense. And in case you want to know my fuel situation, by the way, because I know that sounds daft, I normally tend to bring min fuel in G6 because whilst this thing does drink a lot of fuel, having the extra wait of 20 minutes for maps like this, you don't really need it. You do need the extra climb, and I will happily take that trade. So, let's see what happens. So my first initial engagement was going to be this P-51. And of course, being a P-51C that I now know, it is very important to try and deal with this thing. P-51Cs are, well, for a start, under tiered. There should be 3.7. And number two, when it's backed up by something like that Yak 3 over there, it's not exactly going to be ideal, so to speak. And I don't really want to deal with a P-51C and a French Yak. But of course, sometimes we have to deal with things on our own. Now, luckily, my teammate there trades with the Yak 3, so I don't have to deal with it. But the P-51, we do have to deal with. And even with the gun nerf, when you're hitting with 320s plus IAI on the 13s, which by the way, that belt is slapping, you can get some kills, that's for sure. Kill number one. If you want to know the 20mm belt, I was using air targets, 500 meter convergence. That's what I typically run in BF-109s, and if I'm running pods, depending on the BF, I even put that to 400 because you do need to get your shots on target. So now we're coming up on this P-63 bomber zombie who, appropriately enough, has bombs attached. Does set the Ur on fire before I'm able to help him out, but the Ur does put the fire out, and I think he takes out 2 bases before he goes down. So he's at least gotten an assist, he's gotten his stuff. He'll be respaded after this game, I'm fairly certain. Next up, P-51, because we're going to have to play whack-a-mole, as I said. This is a match literally like I was playing in an arcade. So I miss my shots, and he does take a slight ding to my left wing, but this is where the G6's power really comes into play. So the G6, of course, is relatively heavy, but it does have a really, really good climb rate. And when you're dealing with P-51Cs, yeah, this thing just, it can kick some ass, let's put it that way. So obviously I'm watching the XP-50 to the left, because that is a high priority target as well. The P-51 should have dove here, but he didn't. And that's kill number 3. Now you will be seeing that Domino guy later on in the BF-109, but I'm just going to open up the old tab here so you can have a look at the team situation. As you can tell, my entire team is pretty much dead, and if we look at the enemy team, they still have a decent amount left to go. They have 7 players left on the team, now 6. So yeah, this isn't looking good. But as I said, this is whack-a-mole, it feels like. We kind of have to do the work. That 109 in the distance, he is going to come in and help, but not to the extent that it makes a huge difference, although later on he does make a nice beautiful bait which enables me to finish up the game. So he does help in that in that regard, I say. So the Euro is obviously doing his own thing. The Yak 9 I think has a dead engine and he's not going to make it back to base. And I'm never going to catch this VB10. Because I don't want to really catch a VB10, and plus it'll take too long, and well, I'm not wasting fuel. But luckily he decides to turn back, and off goes his wing, kill number 4. But I'm just watching the Yak, making sure he's okay, and then I think might get some altitude, but the second I think that XP-50 shows up. Now the problem is we're dealing with an XP-50 and a G6 is, whilst you do climb pretty similarly, like not exactly, the problem is the XP-50 manoeuvres a lot better than you in most areas, so forcing the head-on is not a bad idea. Kill number 5, that's an ace. Now of course, probably didn't need to do the head-on there, but I'd rather not take my chances in a manoeuvring fight when I know that there's at least 4 enemy planes left to deal with. So, and plus I didn't even know what 2 of them were, so the best thing to do there was the head-on because his aim was crap and I'm getting my aim back in. So now we're going to jump ahead a little bit. And as you can tell, the horrible replay sound is still a thing. But now I'm just coming up to near their airfield. Obviously the AA isn't too bad at the moment. They've had a little bit of a play with it. I do mess up this shot on the P-47, but we're going to get back to him later. So, coming in on him, I earned a lead. Do get a crit and take off something, but I decided to stick on the VB-10 instead. VB-10's far too slow. And there goes VB-10, kill number 6. But I have all the speed in the world, all the altitude in the world. Yeah, this poor P-47 is not touching me, if I don't want him to. Obviously I'm keeping an eye out for my friendly, because obviously I don't know if he's going to come in and assist me with this kill. But I even decided to use the IAI rounds, just to finish him up. And yeah, they slapped pretty hard. Bear in mind, I didn't even hit the right wing with the 20mm. And yet the IAI just did that. It's a very nasty belt right now. I'd highly suggest giving it a try. It's really good. Like, I'm not even joking. But that's kill number 7. And all that's left is these 2 F6Cs on comms. They do have a couple of kills apiece. Some ground targets. They've stopped our ticket bleed attackers. The Yak is at least somewhat alive, it seems. I thought he had a dead engine at some point, but clearly not. And he's just farming armoured cars. The Ur, I don't think he makes it back to the airfield before, well, going down, because obviously the wing damage, and I think he took an engine bit of damage as well. But at this moment in time, I'm just reclimbing. And this is where Domino 253 actually comes in to help. And I'm not really sure what he's been doing, I'll be brutally honest. I didn't really check the replay for him. He's obviously flying an F4 with no pods, which is fair enough, but yeah. I'm not sure what he's really been doing the whole game, but I mean, it's his decision, I guess. So the F6Cs are now locked onto him, naturally, because they see an F4 and they think that's a higher priority target, yet they know there's a G6 in the area with 7 kills. I'm obviously bingo fuel at this point, so if I don't finish this match or this engagement in the next minute or two, but, well, after that, we're certainly going to finish this engagement, kill number 8, I would have to RTB and probably fly back with like 30% throttle. But luckily my teammate leaves a nice, beautiful bait. We both go for the kill, but I'm just a little bit quicker on the trigger. And that's that for kill number 9. It's not very often I get a match like that, but when you do, it's definitely one to treasure, because even though I made an error with me taking the 20mm instead of the 30mm, so I probably should have checked, had I taken the 30mm, I definitely would not have gotten this result. So sometimes the mistakes you make, they don't always end up being bad, but, you know, we did obviously have some sparks along the way, so don't expect it to be always consistent, but with air targets / stealth and an IAI on the 13s, yeah, this plane can slap, so give it a try. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed seeing one of the last vehicles that I had to respade. I will probably be doing a video on incendiary bombs at some point, because, yeah, I have a bit of an opinion about it, and BF-109s definitely should not have gotten it, but, you know, that's just something I feel. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I will leave you all to it for today, and I'll see you all on the next one.